In the event you come across a pirate that serves the Reapers, then you're going to need to defend yourself. So let's take a look at some of the weapon choices that we have available in the game and what are the best options to use. Starting off with the Flintlock, this weapon is great at being used at close to mid range. I wouldn't recommend using the Flintlock to achieve long range shots just because it's not that reliable, especially when it comes to hitting your target. So unless you're an advanced player, I really wouldn't recommend you doing this. But for an average player, I would recommend using this on Lund for close combat, or even trying to get those mid-range shots by hitting those gunpowder skeletons. Because let's face it, they always come running towards you. The Flintlock works great at using it as hip fire, which could save you seconds in a combat situation. The one thing you have to be careful about with a Flintlock is that the different skin and customization options would actually make it worse for you to get hit on target. So even though you think your skin is really cool and badass, it might actually stop you getting those hits on target. Not only this, the Flintlock has a faster reloading time out of all three weapons, so this could give you the edge of those sticky situations you find yourself in. The best skins for a Flintlock I can recommend are definitely the Sea Dog variants, because the skin is clean and it's really easy to aim down the sights with, which could help you get that hit on target. Now the eye reach is one of my personal favourites, and this is for one reason and one reason alone, and it's not just for the fact that you can get those long range shots in that could potentially save you from getting sunk. It's actually because you can use it as a spyglass exactly the same time you're using it for a weapon. This will allow you to be so much more ready and the ability to take that shot if you needed to. It really makes you ready for what could happen, and it will stop you having to switch out your spyglass just to get your weapon out. And it's the only weapon in Sea of Thieves that has a proper sight to aim down with, so you can get more precise shots. And yes, I know the other weapons have an iron sights, but to me, they're not really easy to shoot from if you're not experienced with them. And because of the special size it has, it makes it easier for anyone to pick it up and use it straight away. The Eye of Reach is CV's answer to a sniper, which is really handy to have a long range weapon in the game. Could really turn the tide in battle. And not everyone is a fan of close combat, so it means anyone who wants to join in can still join in. Also, those who put a gunpowder cake in a crow's nest, well, it's going to be easy to hit you now. Also, when you aim down the sights in a spyglass, it actually shows a glint coming from your sniper rifle, which gives your position away from the enemy. So just be careful when using this weapon. So for those who like to deal damage and potentially one-shot other players, then this may be the weapon for you. This has got more of a shotgun style mechanics to it, and it's not really effective from long range, but it is really effective from close range combat. I probably don't use a blunderbuss as often as I should do, but this weapon is really effective to stop players boarding your ship, as it has a chance for you to one-shot them at close range, but make sure you're aiming when you do this, and if that doesn't work, it will knock them back and off your ship. But just remember, if you can do that to them, they can also do it to you. So if you see them bored with a blunderbuss, just make sure that could happen and get yourself away from them, or make sure you get them first. Also, when you shoot the blunderbuss, you can see pellets fly off in distance. If you actually aim down the sights, it will make those pellets come a bit closer range and actually hit better. So try not to hip fire with this weapon. Now, the Cutlass is a true weapon only pirates would really use, and this will see you through the days and the seas. But one of the greatest features a Cutlass gives you is the ability to block, and I can't tell you how many times blocking enemies hits has stopped me from visiting the old ferryman. It also works great against skellies, but not so effective against anyone using ranged weapons, so bear that in mind. And make sure you're ready to switch yours at any given time, because they're also not so great against gunpowder barrels. Trust me, I know. The Cutlass is actually the only melee weapon currently in the game, but it does also give you the ability to sword lounge around the island or through skellies, you pick. That ability makes it so much more easier to get back to your ship without having to swim all the way, or from your ship to the island. Now, there is one massive problem with the Cutlass. If you miss a hit, then you get penalised and have to wait a few seconds before you can move or hit again. Now, this leaves you really vulnerable to attacks and could cost you the battle, so bear using a Cutlass in mind. One way around this is not to miss. The new addition to the range family is the Trident, which is currently so powerful, and it can pop skeletons like there's no tomorrow. Also, it looks really cool. I do find that the Trident is very effective against skeleton captains, and it has different charge levels that could do different damages, so when you're doing your Order of the Souls, make sure to bring some along. I think that in future updates this is going to get nerfed because it's pretty powerful, so I recommend to use it while you can. Also, these range weapons you can't recharge. Once you've used all the energy, it depletes and goes away. But not to worry, because you can find more, and the best location to find these are at shipwrecks, or when you find barrels in the water. Have a look around there, you might find some. But that's not the greatest thing about these Tridents. The greatest thing about these Tridents is you can still have two main weapons. You could have a double gun, or you could have a Cutlass and an Eye of Reach, pick up your Trident, and at any time just drop your Trident and you still have 2 weapons to attack your enemy. This gives you a lot more options when it comes to fighting other players. Just make sure you check the middle sort of gem, and when it goes dark, it's going to start to deplete really fast. So now we're looking at some throwables, and the first ones we got are firebombs. Now these firebombs you can carry with them, and you can have up to 5 in your inventory, as well as having 2 weapons, which is really good because that's additional firepower to help you against any combat situation. Now I don't think firebombs do that much damage, but the best thing these are used for is to cause a distraction towards the enemy players. Now having these distractions in game could allow them to sink, or even send them to the ferryman, and they can also set off any gunpowder barrel they come in contact with, which could be handy if you run out of shots, or you want to save those precious shots for something else. And they also create fire, which is pretty awesome. You should be able to find some of these in your cannonball barrel on your ship, as you spawn with some every time you spawn in a new game. The next throwable is the Blunderbomb. Now these little things are the ultimate method to stop people boarding your ship, and thus keeping you and your anchor safe. Blunderbombs can also set off gunpowder barrels just like the firebombs, so make sure you throw at them just to make sure you do get them. It's definitely always handy to keep some on with you, and you can have also 5 of these on your persons at one time. You can mix them with firebombs as well. So this is pretty much a throwable version of a Blunderbuss. It just doesn't do enough damage, but it does knock them back so much. So this can become really effective to stop boarders or for you to board other players' ships. You can also find these in the cannonball barrel on your ship as you spawn in. So now we know all about the different types of weapons in Sea of Thieves. All we got to do now is select 2 of them and use them as our combination. Now my favourite combo is the Cutlass and the Eye of Reach, because I can still sword lounge everywhere, and I have that option to long range people. I could snipe them from miles away to stop them boarding my ship while I'm on the island, or if I sail past the ship and I see a sneaky gunpowder barrel in the crow's nest, then I'm going to have a little cheeky pop at it. Another favourite of most players, not mine, is double gunning. Now it's not really my preferred choice or playstyle, but it is a playstyle to use. But a good recommendation would be the Flintlock and Blunderbuss, just because you've got the close combat and the mid-range combat. But if you're going to be one of these who do double guns, try and take an ammo crate with you and leave it on the island somewhere. That way you're not going to run out of anything. So now it's your turn to tell me what you think is the best weapon in the game, and also your favourite combination. For mine, Cutlass wins every time. I feel like a true pirate when I'm using this. And then second runner up is definitely the Eye of Reach, just because of that spyglass feature. I really find it's an extra tool that could save you seconds in combat. So let me know in the comments below what you think. It's the best weapon out of all of them. Also make sure to hit that subscribe button and also join our Discord for more Sea of Thieves content. And while you're here, why not click one of those videos being on screen right now? You never know, you might enjoy it.